Welcome to our presentation on perceptions of teaching among college students. This research project was conducted at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire by Ted Mokentine, Stefania Draghicchio, and Allisyn Kleutsch under the faculty guidance of Dr. Calderon Vriesema. In this overview, we're going to walk you through why we did this study, our methods, and our results. Overall, we did this study because there's a growing concern around teacher recruitment and retention in the United States. This concern, combined with the research showing public perceptions of teaching as unattractive and of lower occupational status, shows that there is a need to tackle these issues. To do this, we drew from factors commonly related to teaching attractiveness to ask two very specific research questions. First, what factors predict an individual's teaching interest? And second, what factors predict an individual's support for education policy? In this study, we define teaching interest as how much a college student wants to pursue a K-12 teaching career. For education policy, we define this outcome variable as participants' support for allocating funding toward teacher salary, educational research, and schools. To answer our research questions, we used the following methods. We recruited our sample by administering an online survey to college students at one Midwest university. Participants self-selected to complete the survey through an online survey platform through the university. The survey included all the survey items, response options for the variables included in our survey, and asked some demographic questions. The survey covered the following primary topics which related to teaching: expertise, occupational status, social unity value, demands, difficulty, teaching efficacy, teaching interest, and educational policy attitudes. 88 students participated in the study. Of those 88 participants, 73 were female and 15 were male. As for race, 80 people identified as white, 5 identified as Asian and Pacific Islander, 2 identified as both Asian and Pacific Islander as well as white, and 1 identified as Hispanic and white. For political affiliation, participants rated themselves on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being extremely liberal and 7 being extremely conservative. Average political orientation was 3.64, so slightly conservative. To answer our research questions, we conducted 2 multiple regression analyses. Overall, we found that college students who felt more confident in their ability to convey information to others also reported more interest in pursuing teaching as a career. No other personal characteristics or attributes of the teaching profession predicted teaching interest. In terms of our second research question, there were several factors that predicted participants' support for education policy. First, participants who rated themselves as more conservative and who felt like teaching had a higher status relative to other professions were less likely to support education policy. In contrast, we've also found that participants who perceived teaching to be demanding and valuable to society were more likely to report higher education policy support. Of all these significant predictors, political orientation was the strongest one. If you are interested in seeing more specific statistical information, please see our poster for the primary regression output. Also, in case you are interested in seeing how the variables related to each other in general, that is outside of our main regression analysis, we encourage you to check out our correlation table. Here you can see to what extent the variables in our study related to each other. A greater number of asterisks implies a stronger relationship. The pairs without asterisks are not significantly related to each other. Overall, we found that perceptions of the teaching profession did not really predict teaching interest. Only instructional efficacy did. In contrast, participations of teaching did predict support for educational policy, and, surprisingly, political orientation was the strongest predictor. In terms of main takeaways, we can use this information in future studies to create interventions emphasizing teaching expertise and value to improve bipartisan support for U.S. education. This can help current teachers as well as future educators. Thank you so much for stopping by our presentation. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below or email them to molkentj4574@uwec.edu. Have a wonderful rest of your day.